The Novation Launchpad has definitely been a game changer in the MIDI controller world. With an 8x8 button grid layout and a competitive price, the Launchpad has been extremely popular. Its tight integration with Ableton Live by use of Novation's Automap software makes getting straight into your productions or DJing sets much faster, while having a lot more fun too. Although the Launchpad is an extremely versatile controller, it can be difficult to know how to get the most out of it. In this video, I'll be showing you how to use the Launchpad to its maximum potential. One of the most frequently asked questions to do with the Launchpad is how to get LED feedback in User 1 mode. Not many places actually go over how to do this, but it's actually quite easy, so I'll show you now. Firstly, you want to open up a new project, and you want to go on the MIDI track, which it has from the beginning. You want to put in an instrument. For now, I'll just use an 808 kit. Now, if you go to your Launchpad, put it in User 1 mode, and you can start to hit the different buttons, and there'll be sounds coming out, but not much feedback. The easiest way of doing it is if you insert another MIDI track, and just for housekeeping, call it an LED. And the important bit to look at is down here, which is the MIDI from monitor and MIDI to. In the MIDI from, you have various options. You won't have all the options I have here, but if you pick your kit or whatever instrument you've put in, and then click monitor in, and then MIDI to, pick that Launchpad output Launchpad. Now what this effectively does is any MIDI which is going to the drum rack is then forwarded back to the Launchpad, and that's how you get your LED feedback. So if you now go back to your Launchpad, you've got LED feedback. Once LED feedback is set up, you can do various other things to make it look even better. So what you want to do is go to MIDI effects and then velocity. Now if you click and drag that onto your LED bus, it now comes up with this effect down here. Now the way the Launchpad dictates which colour it's going to use for each button is through the velocity value which is sent to it. So if, for example, you hit a button on your Launchpad now, it's most likely going to be an orangey yellow, which is the default. However, if you change the out high, it will change the colour of the Launchpad buttons. So if you fiddle about with different values, you'll find the colour which you want. One very cool thing, especially for live performances, is this random knob here. If you crank that all the way to the right, what that will effectively do is randomize the velocity values being sent to the Launchpad. So whenever you hit different buttons, you'll get totally different colours each time. Messing about with the other MIDI effects can also give you some really cool results. For example, I found that if you put a chord effect on your LED bus and choose various different values, like so let's do some different ones, and in conjunction with the random velocity effects which I showed you just before, if you press different buttons, you're going to get other random buttons lighting up as well. A great way to captivate your audience during a live performance is to bang out a tune live using your Launchpad. Now, there's several ways of doing this, but no matter what way you use, it can be quite difficult to remember where your notes are and what you're playing. A great way of learning how to play these live is to make a MIDI file of your song. So I've taken a MIDI file from the internet here, and what you can do is then put it onto a MIDI track, and then in conjunction with the LED feedback bus which we made earlier, if you now play this, the song will play and the notes will light up on your Launchpad. This is fantastic if you want to learn a song, because you can then slowly go through the song at your own pace, just change the BPM, and you can start slow and get faster and just watch which notes are being played. You don't even need to be very musical as long as you've got quite good memory. And if you put something like a synth, or what I usually like to do is here in the sampler, pianos and keys, if you put something like the grand piano on the MIDI track, what will happen is that it will play the MIDI, as you can probably hear, through the instrument. Another big question which is always asked about the Launchpad is what user 2 mode is actually used for. Now, how user 1 mode is set up is each button corresponds to a note. However, in user 2 mode, each button corresponds to just a MIDI CC value. So what this means is that unfortunately LED feedback won't work. From what I've tried, I couldn't get it to work how I wanted it to. But what you can use user 2 mode is for basically anything which you can MIDI map. One great example which I use quite a lot is, let's say you can put an EQ8 on, and if we change that to be a filter, what you can then do is MIDI map the frequency knob. But a great way of doing this is if you click the MIDI learn, then frequency, and hold down 2 buttons in a line on your Launchpad. This also works for other MIDI controllers. For example, here I've done the bottom left to the bottom right buttons of the Launchpad. I've held them both down, and what this can do is create almost a fader. So if you press the bottom left, and the next one along, and the next one. And what you can use this for is during live performances, you can just switch to user 2 mode, have a bit of a filter going. You could use it for changing filters on synths, or adding more distortion, or even reverb. That works quite well.